Hello and welcome to another edition of Full Time with Tonge Wareing. One football reporter, one ex-pro, same game, but two maybe slightly different opinions. Good evening to you all. You all right, Al?
Yeah, I'm good, Anthony. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Lots to cram in on this edition of Full Time with Tonge Wareing. You can get in touch with us right here on email, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. We're also on X as well, at fulltimetw. What have we got coming up for you in this particular edition? Well, we're going to do Al's away end in just a second. A little bit of a review on the Carabao Cup first round, plus our score prediction competition. The answer to our true or false competition. Al's away end again. We'll be giving out the more clues to that as well. In part two, we're going to look at the EFL. Of course, the Football League gets underway next week. Plus a little bit of a look back on pre-season as well. Going to discuss one or two rule changes, one of which I actually witnessed for the first time myself yesterday as well. And we'll also be giving the final clue to Al's away end for this particular edition of Full Time with Tonge Wareing. So lots to cram in, Al, tonight. The angry producer is with us as well. You all right, angry producer?
Get on with it.
All right. Okay, yeah, we'll get on with it. Okay, Al, straight into your away end then. If you want to remind us, first of all, of the three clues we gave out on the last edition of this podcast, and the answer, please, as well.
Yes, certainly, and so clue one was this ground has been home to the club since 1898. The second clue was this ground has been flooded in the past due to an adjacent river bursting its banks. And the third clue was this particular ground hosted the Women's FA Cup final for 2 consecutive years in 2007 and 2008.
No, I couldn't get this. I went for Villa Park, but I think I was wrong, was I?
You certainly was. There's a couple of people actually who've kind of had a go at sort of thinking about probably clue 2 particularly, like the adjacent river, but
yeah.
The answer was, Anthony, it was the City Ground at Nottingham Forest.
City Ground at Nottingham Forest. Any correct answers?
Yeah, quite a lot of correct answers. So we had Stuart Hamnett, who's known as Streetwise Stu, on X. Absolutely diamond of a human being. He does loads of work for the homeless. He's got a big event coming up on the 3rd of October. So if anybody can support that, that'd be much appreciated. So hook Stu up on X if you can give him a follow.
Fantastic. Yeah, good stuff.
He'll give you some information about that.
Yeah.
Andrew Robinson got it right. John Fern went for Notts County at first and then changed his mind to the other side of the river and got it right in the end. K-Stand 89 thought it was Craven Cottage at first, but then went for the City Ground Nottingham. And then we had Jay as well, who got the City Ground. I think Jay's a Plymouth fan. But as we always say, everybody welcome on this pod. No matter which club you support, please get involved. So thanks for those guys for sending in the answers and majority of them getting that right.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely, everybody is welcome. And thank you very much for all those answers as well. Do we need to pick a winner to get some prizes out, or should we invite maybe those that have got the answer correct to just send us their details on email, and then we can maybe think about sending them a prize as well?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We've got plenty of bits and pieces to sort of pass on. So if they can get in contact with us, there's no problem with getting something in the post for those guys for getting the correct answer on that.
Marvellous. If you did get it right, then if you want to email us, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, send us your contact details and we will get something like a pen or a mug with our logo on it out to you very, very soon. Right, without any further ado then, Alan, we're going to another away end. We've sent you off packing somewhere else. Can we have your first clue as well, please?
Yeah, certainly getting around at the moment. I know we've been
Don't be putting expenses in, Al. Don't be putting expenses. We can't afford that. Yeah.
Oh dear. So first clue, Ant, is I always start with the year. This ground was constructed and opened in 1906, and I'll throw another little clue in here at number 1. There's a golf link to this one.
Oh, there you go. Right, another clue coming up very shortly then on Al's away end. But I want to stick with the theme, Alan, if I may, of competitions, because as we know, first round of the League Cup took place over this weekend just gone, and we have got a score prediction competition running as well. We've had a go at it, and a couple of our listeners have had a go as well. So very quickly, let's just see how we're doing, because there is still one game left to play that we picked out at the time of recording this podcast that's yet to be played in this score prediction competition. But I have to say, Al, it's really close. Those that have had a go, along with us two as well, the score line at the moment is really, really close. So we went for QPR against Millwall. It finished 1-1. You went for a 2-0 win for Millwall. I went for a 1-0 win for Millwall, so neither of us get a point there. But then we've also had Jay and Andy Robinson who've had a go as well. Jay went for a 1-0 win for QPR, and Andy Robinson went for a 1-0 win for QPR. So guess what, Al? Nobody gets a point for that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not the best at tipsters, are we, to be honest. But...
Not the best at tipsters. It does get better, though. Let me say that. It does get better, because our next game, Burton against Blackburn, it finished Burton 1, Blackburn 2. You went for a 3-0 win for Blackburn, Al. So you get a point for that. First point on the board. I went for a 2-1 win for Burton, so I get nothing. Jay went for a 3-1 win for Blackburn, so he gets a point. But Andy Robinson, congratulations to you. He really has got going here. He has got himself 3 points because he predicted the correct scoreline. So he's done well there. But we have, most of us anyway, managed to get points on the board. Leicester against Northampton was the next game we went for. Can you remember what you predicted, Al?
Yeah, I went for a 2-0 Leicester win, Ant.
You did. I went for a 4-0 Leicester win. Jay went for a 5-1 Leicester win. And Andy Robinson went for a 3-1 Leicester win. It finished Leicester 1, Northampton 0. So we all get a point for that. We all predicted the right winner, but none of us got the scoreline predicted correctly. The next one threw us a curveball a little bit. Sheffield Wednesday against Bolton. Can you remember what you went for there, Al?
Yeah, I went for a 2-1 Bolton win on that one.
No, nil point there. As did I. Yeah, as did I, who predicted a 2-2 draw. As did Jay, who predicted a 3-2 win for Bolton. As did Andy Robinson, who predicted a 2-1 win for Bolton. So nobody gets a point for that one. Colchester against Southampton. Al, can you remember what you said there?
Yeah, we went for a 2-0 Southampton win on that one, didn't we?
We both did, so we both pick up 3 points for that one. Jay went for a 3-1 win for Southampton. He gets a point. And Andy Robinson, he went for a 3-0 win for Southampton, and he gets a point. So as things stand at the moment, going into that Devon derby, which takes place on Monday evening, Alan, you currently are sitting on 5 points. I'm on 4. Jay's on 3. And Andy Robinson is also on 5. So it's yourself and Andy Robinson out in the lead at the moment. But the thing is, in terms of the last game and the predicted scores of what's been chosen, Jay could still win it because he's gone for a 3-1 win for Plymouth. Whereas you've gone for 2-1 for Exeter. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Andy Robinson's gone for a 2-2 draw. So we can't all be correct. And if Jay manages to get the scoreline correctly, he comes from the very back of the pack to win it on the final game. So it's all to play for going into that Devon derby first round League Cup fixture. So still all to go for, Al.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, it's very tight at the moment. So it's a good competition. So lead us into a really big game tomorrow night and see what happens. Yeah, I think Plymouth are favourites to win that. But you never know in derbies and anything can happen. So, yeah, that we await that result with bated breath. Yeah, it should be a really good contest.
Absolutely. And what we'll do on this next podcast, we'll reveal the eventual winner. We can't open it up anymore to anybody else to have a go at this competition because 5 of the 6 games that we've picked out have already been played. So it wouldn't really work, would it? So it's between myself, Alan, Jay and Andy Robinson for who is going to carry off the victory in our score prediction competition. Do you remember, Al, last time I did a true or false as well for you all?
I think I can remember that, yeah. My aging memory, I think we can remember that from last Sunday, yeah.
Yep, so I read out 3 statements, 2 of which are true, 1 of which is false. You had to work out which was the false statement. Statement number 1, a referee once abandoned a match because a fan unplugged the VAA monitor. Statement number 2, a goalkeeper was sent off for climbing over a fence to go and fetch a ball. And number 3, a World Cup manager claimed a goal should have been disallowed because the ball hit the spider cam cable in the build-up to a goal. Which one was false, Al?
So I went for number 2. I didn't like the ball getting kicked out, someone going retrieving it and getting sent off or whatever for that. So I thought, there's no way that could happen, surely.
You're absolutely spot on. That was the false statement. The first statement, a referee once abandoned a match because a fan unplugged the VAR monitor. This really happened. It was in Germany when a masked supporter unplugged the pitchside VAR screen while the referee was reviewing a penalty. I wonder if he got kicked out of the ground. We'll possibly never know. And then the third one, a World Cup manager claimed a goal should have been disallowed because the ball hit a spider cam cable in the build-up to a goal. We all know what game this came from, don't we, Al?
We do, aren't we? Yeah, it was the Norwegians moaning about that, wasn't it, in the World Cup?
It was Ståle Solbakken, the Norway manager, who complained about it in the game against England as well. I'm not sure if it was the equalising goal or the winning goal, but it was definitely one of them. It was true and it did happen, and the Norway manager was none best pleased. So well done to you if you have managed to have a go at that and you got it spot on as well. Right, Al, before we get into our EFL preview and I'll look back on pre-season as well, you've already given us the first clue to this particular editions of Al's Away End. Can we have your second clue, please?
Yeah, certainly. And so we've got the first clue there about the ground was constructed, opened in 1906, and there's a golf link there. And clue number 2 is the attendance record is 67,341, and that was set in a 1939 FA Cup tie against Everton.
Absolutely fantastic. If you think you know the answer to Al's Away End, then you can email us here, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. We're also available on X as well, at fulltimetw. We'll retweet those clues out as well before the next podcast goes out, so you all get a chance to be reminded of them, and you can have a go at Al's Away End also. Coming up next, we're going to do our EFL preview. You're listening to Full Time with Tonge Wareing football podcast, which is for absolutely anybody, no matter what standard of football you're into. Then we're prepared to discuss it right here on Full Time with Tonge Wareing, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, and on X, fulltimetw. Right, Al. The Carabao Cup is already up and underway. We discussed that a little bit earlier with our score predictions. There weren't many upsets, if I can remember, having read through the results from yesterday. I suppose really the standout one, possibly, was Walsall beating Bristol City on Thursday night. But other than that, I couldn't really pick out an upset, could you?
No, absolutely. And so just following that yesterday, as you say, it started Friday night, didn't it, with the Middlesbrough and Wrexham game. I'm quite impressed with Middlesbrough, to be honest with you. I thought they played really well. But as you say, I think yesterday the fixtures that we were following, not really much happening shocks-wise. I know it's a bit obviously early in the season because it's only the first kind of game, but it's always nice to win, isn't it, and get through. I think you were neatly right, and you had Burton for quite a while, didn't you?
I did,
They were hanging on, weren't they?
They were. There were quite a few games that went to penalty shootouts as well. I took in a game as well. I was at the Bet365 Stadium yesterday. I saw Stoke take on Oldham in the first round. More to come on that in just a second. But normally we do see an upset or two in the first round. But I wanted to fill this segment actually with discussing one of the upsets, but I've got nothing to fill it with because there wasn't one. Yeah,
I think maybe, I don't know, can we call Shrewsbury winning on penalties at Salford City an upset?
Possibly, yeah, maybe.
Maybe Salford expected to win that, and I think Notts County did well at Burnley for quite a while, didn't they? I think they were winning as well, and Burnley got a late equaliser and I think managed to get through on penalties, and your team as well on Preston.
Struggled to get through.
Managed to get through in the end, but
93rd minute equaliser and then go and win it on penalties. That's the way to do it. That's the best.
It isn't. Just gathering it because obviously I live over this way. I think a few Bolton supporters are a little bit sort of questionable, a bit critical at the moment of Bolton, and like many teams, and it's always difficult that transition into they've been in League One for a few seasons and then going up into the Championship now. That's not an easy step. I think the Championship is a really tough league, and I think it's a very competitive division. So
I don't know if you saw the sending off that occurred in that game between Sheffield Wednesday and Bolton. I think it was Simmons for Bolton who was sent off for blatantly striking out at an opponent and really did catch him sort of in the stomach abdomen area. I mean, you can't go around doing things like that, can you? Not in full view of the referee and with all the cameras about as well.
No, especially in the first game, and our temper's sort of running high, and for some reason, psychologically, that Simmons has kind of like lost his temper a little bit there and lashed out, as you say, Anton. Chances are, will he get a 3-game ban for that?
I would imagine so. Violent conduct, yeah.
Not the best of starts of the season for him.
No, definitely not. But no doubt, Al, players and supporters up and down the country will be well pleased now that the season is finally getting underway and pre-season has come to an end. I mean, you'll know more than most, Al. You'll have gone through pre-seasons, no doubt, as well. Is it just a case of running until you throw up pre-season? I mean, it must be hard work, and I don't think it's one that players like going through, is it?
No, it used to be, It used to be. I think, going back generations, that was kind of like the sort of physiological knowledge that a lot of coaches had, that they used to take you sort of down to the beach and have you running up sand dunes and going on long runs and, doing sort of loads of cardio work and getting your fitness to kind of its height. But I think these days it's very technical. I think players don't get as much rest as they used to. I mean, we used to get weighed in, Ants, and used to have sort of maybe about 6 weeks off just to recharge the batteries, and then get weighed in again when you come back to training. And there used to be some really random weights, that's for sure. Weigh in at a certain level, 10 stone 6, and then come back and you're 11.7. That's quite a bit to get off, a bit of a fine to pay. But I think sort of typical footballers try to get around it, used to sort of get training programs, and I've heard all sorts out, getting heart rate monitors strapped onto dogs when they're going out for walks and runs and stuff like that, and try to pass that off as your own. So some crazy tales back in the past, but yeah, very scientific, very very measured now. And I think athletes are, footballers are more like athletes now, and they look after themselves in pre-season, where you go back generations and it was just a bit of carnage for 4 to 6 weeks, bad diet, plenty of drinking, and then work hard to get it off when you come back.
Pre-season also involves many friendly matches as well. And I've always had a divided opinion on this next question now. Do results in pre-season at friendly games, do they matter at all?
I think it's always nice to win, but there's been such, there's no real science to this, is there? I've seen teams have really poor pre-seasons and then win leagues, like as they go into the season. So it's very, very difficult to predict. I think that, we spoke about this before, on pre-season's really there for, everybody to get the match fitness up and get your team shape and, get sort of your patterns of play and the people that you're sort of going to be playing with, working in little triangles and little squares and stuff like that, and just to get that kind of level of connection going. But I always think about this, and it's nice to win, isn't it? And get into that winning habit.
Get that mentality going. Yeah.
Oh, it is, and so we spoke about this a few pods back, didn't we, in relation to there's going to be a managerial merry-go-round, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
The first 4 to 6 weeks of the season is going to be critical, and if you don't get off to a good start, there's going to be some jobs on the line, I'm afraid, and
absolutely,
that's the brutality of football.
Yeah. Any funny stories that you can remember from your time in pre-season, Al?
Well, we used to sort of go down, Exeter used to travel down to sort of St Ives, and we used to go down into Cornwall and play a few games on there. But again, very different. I remember one year we had Jock Wallace, the old Rangers manager, he come travelling. That must have been a good mate of Bawley's.
Yeah.
So he was a bit of a character, Jock, that's for sure, and he didn't mince his words, and he used to sort of like be quite fearful. I think a lot of people that played under Jock at different sides would say exactly the same. He ruled with an iron rod like a lot of people did back then. But again, just totally different. And, we used to sort of do a little bit of work down there, a few games, and then you'd have a bit of space and time. And a lot of the staple stuff for us really was going having a few beers, even in the pre-season. And I remember, because I don't know how this was, we managed to find there was like a big night out down in Cornwall, like a big, I don't know if you can remember the Sunday Sport.
The newspaper.
They had loads of Sunday Sport girls in this particular like meet and greet and something like that. So I'm just glad.
Steady, Al. This is a podcast for everybody. Don't forget.
Yeah, I'm just glad that there was no camera phones or anything like that. Because I think a couple of the players had the pictures with these girls, but I don't know what's happened to them. The Polaroids have probably long gone on, haven't they?
Yeah.
But I mean, the pre-season was a bit. Get your fitness, get your games in, but you had like a little bit of time to sort of go and do a little bit as well, and that's how it was. That's how it was back then, a bit crazy at times.
Well, no doubt that players and supporters up and down the country will be delighted that pre-season has now come to an end and we get the real stuff underway. Of course, this time next week, as we're recording this podcast right now, the first games from the EFL will have been played, and we're going to have a quick preview now of the EFL. And we asked, of course, on the last podcast, we wanted you to predict who will be your eventual winners of League Two, League One, the Championship, and the Premier League as well. Lots of people I'll have messaged in. I've had a few emails on this as well. Let's start with League Two, if we can. Who do we think is going to win League Two this season?
Well, I think I've said a couple of pods back out. Salford City, they've been knocking on the door. I think Carl Robinson was a bit unlucky last year, wasn't he? Just one bad performance in a Wembley final killed him, and sadly he lost his job. But they're knocking on the door. They've got good backing, and so they brought in a new manager who was assistant to Postecoglou at Tottenham, so a good pedigree. Not the best to start for him yesterday in the Carabao Cup, but I fully expect Salford to be challenging Anton. That would probably be my prediction. What about yourself, Anne?
Yeah, I mean, I picked out Salford as well, simply because of the fact of a couple of the signings that they've made. I mean, they've got the lad Molyneux in from Doncaster, who's a terrific player at that standard, but they've also signed Macaulay Longstaff as well, who scored goals for fun in the I think it was the National League with Notts County. He made the big move to Millwall. I don't think it really quite worked out for him there, but at League Two level, I predict that Macaulay will be actually prolific, and I think he'll score a lot of goals. Having said all that, Al, I've also gone for Rotherham as well. I perhaps maybe think Rotherham or Salford will win League Two this season. I know Rotherham got off to not a great start yesterday. They were playing, I think it was West Brom, in the first round of the Carabao Cup, but I also think Alex Bruce will get something going there at Rotherham as well. And I would certainly expect those two to be up and around the top of League Two.
Yeah, certainly, Ant. I think Steve McLaren had a
he's there as well.
Director
Steve, is it Steve Bruce or Steve McLaren? I'm not quite sure. One of them's
Steve
there
McLaren,
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
Steve McLaren's head of technical director or head of football. And then obviously, like you say, Alex Bruce is his first sort of like managerial appointment, isn't it? So
yeah,
I think they were a championship team not long ago. I think Rotherham, and they've had a bit of a fall from grace. So I think they, like you say, they'll probably be up there challenging.
Any dark horses for League Two?
Well, I don't know if you had an email off. We had a tweet off Russ Gray, or don't call it tweets anymore. It's like an X message, I suppose, isn't it? And Russ is a big Exeter fan, and Russ fancies Tranmere. And
okay. Not done that well, have they, in previous seasons? But
they haven't, and he likes. He said he specifically likes the signing of Tom Ince there. I think Tom Ince has been around quite a number of seasons. Played at a really good level.
Yeah.
I think he played in the Premier League with Liverpool, didn't he? And he's kind of been at Derby and a few other clubs in his career. So that's quite a good sign, exciting signing for Tranmere. So he fancies them to be challenging, and so we'll see if he gets that right.
Yeah.
And I also had a proud but not message me a little bit earlier and said, he's like ourselves, and he fancies Salford City to do the business and win League Two. Yeah,
I also fancy Port Vale to make a good fist of it as well, and I also think Chesterfield might do well in League Two as well this season. Right, let's move on quickly. Let's have a look then, Al, at League One. I mean, I'll start with this one because I think it's quite straightforward. I don't think, well, I'm certainly not going to look past anybody other than Leicester City to win this league this year.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be quite a few people's pick, Ant, isn't it, to win League One? I've gone with Leicester as well. Russ Gray's decided to have a crack at Oxford. He's gone for that, and and proud but not. And again, he's on our side. He thinks Leicester will be League One champions.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to pick a dark horse from that division for this coming season, I mean, I think Bradford will do well as well. Again, I think Huddersfield might be up there, but I also think Luton as well might go well this season.
Again, I'm Luton a bit of a fall from grace.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long ago in the Premier League, and dropped down a couple of divisions. And as you say, you'd expect Luton to be challenging at the top of League One.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a look then at the Championship, because again, I'm going to start with this one. Again, I can't see anybody. Well, if you finish above West Ham, I think you're going to win the league.
Yeah. Again, Russ, big Exeter fan, he's plumped for West Ham to win the Championship. I was very impressed, and just mentioned it earlier in this pod, about with Middlesbrough. I thought they were really good on Friday night against Wrexham. Some very good players in that Middlesbrough group.
Yeah.
And I think they've been knocking on the door this last season or two, so I'd expect Middlesbrough to give it a good go. And proud but not, again, agrees with me. He's gone for Middlesbrough as well to do the business in the Championship.
Middlesbrough have spent big. I can tell you they brought some experience in as well. I saw Stoke City yesterday. They've also spent big, but I don't know. Bit of rustiness there, I thought, particularly in the first half. Wolves, I think, will be strong as well, and Southampton.
Absolutely, and I think traditionally your teams who come out of the Premier League are usually there or thereabouts, aren't they, in relation to the challenges? So maybe Wolves probably be up there as well, and Burnley, of course, will probably be challenging. So yeah, it should be an interesting. Championship is a tough league. It's a really tough league. You have a tough game nearly every week.
Absolutely, you certainly do. Don't I know it, being the supporter of a Championship team. Right, the Premier League, I'll start again with this one, Al, because I had a look at it. I thought somebody different might win it this year, but I'm actually going to go for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think great minds think alike on that answer. I think I'll join you with that one. I think that signing of Bruno Guimaraes is for 75 million has been a bit of a masterstroke, and just shows you that they are still trying to improve. I had a great season last season, been knocking on the door a couple of seasons, managed to get it over the line.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then, signed like a big money signing. So, I think we'll go with Arsenal on that. Russ follows us. He goes for Arsenal. Proud but not has gone for Man City to do the business. So, it's usually between them, and see what happens. But I think Arsenal have got a really good chance of retaining this.
Yeah, just very quickly before we move on, I've had a couple of emails as well. Thanks very much to Grant Hinchcliffe, who's also gone for Man City to win the Premier League. He's gone for Wolves to win the Championship. League One, he's gone for Luton, and for League Two, he's gone for Port Vale as well. And then I got a very nice email as well from Tom Vickery. He says, "Hi gents, loving the pod, keep up the great work. Premier League, he thinks that Man City will pip Arsenal to the title this season. Championship, all eyes will be on West Ham, but it's a ruthless league and he feels that they may struggle to go straight back up, so he's going to say Middlesbrough. League One, seems like Sheffield Wednesday are finally getting see some light at the end of the tunnel. Good shout that, actually. As well as getting Barry Bannon back, it's going to be a tough team to beat this season. And League Two, he thought Bristol Rovers at first, but then Salford seemed to be motoring with their signings, and as he agrees with me, Langstaff and Molyneux will be a real handful. So Salford City to be the champions." Thank you very much for those as well. We'll keep an eye, obviously, on what's going on across the EFL over the course of the season, and we'll keep previewing it and reviewing it as we do right here on Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Coming up next, we're going to discuss rule changes, and we're also going to have a little bit of crystal ball fun as well. You're listening to Full Time with Tonge and Wareing, the football podcast, which is for absolutely everybody. Al, very quickly, there's been some rule changes in the English Football League for this coming season, and I witnessed one of them firsthand yesterday. I went to watch the Stoke against Oldham Carabao Cup first round contest. Magnificent following from the Oldham fans, I have to say. Over 2,000 supporters they took with them yesterday. But one of the rule changes that I witnessed, Oldham made a substitution late on. They brought off Ollie Norburn, their skipper, and because he didn't leave the field within 10 seconds of the board going up, the player replacing him couldn't come on until a minute had passed, and there was another stoppage in play. What do we make of that?
Interesting. I mean, it's probably just like, obviously the rule is to try and get off and the field of players as a different exit point as quickly as you can, but that to me is like really petty old stuff like that, don't you think?
Absolutely. Another couple of rule changes as well. One involves the goalkeepers. If a goalkeeper goes down with an injury and requires some treatment, the head coach or the manager will have to nominate an outfield player to come off the field for a minute. That's a new one coming in for this season. And at goal kicks and throw-ins have to be taken, I think, within 5 to 6 seconds of being awarded. Otherwise, at a goal kick, the opposing side gets a corner if it doesn't happen quick enough. And at a throw-in, well, the opposing side gets the throw-in as well. So a couple of things there. In fact, all those rules, Al, designed, I think, to stop time wasting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen sort of goalkeepers going down, haven't we, and often spoke to each other and said it's a bit like the boy that cried wolf. Sooner or later, it's going to be genuine, but it's a bit of gamesmanship, isn't it? Just to buy a bit of time. There might be a bit of momentum that's against them at that particular period of play, and it's just buying an opportunity, isn't it, for the players to go over to the side, have a drink, and get some coaching really off the managers. So it's good to see that the authorities have spotted that and sort of like, come down with a bit of an iron fist and say, we're not having that.
Yeah, you can have your say as well. fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, at fulltimetw as well on X. Right, Al, before we do the crystal ball, very quickly, can we have your third clue, please, to Al's away end?
Certainly can't. So just very, very quickly, clue one, this ground was constructed open in 1906. There's a golf link to it. Second clue was the attendance record was 67,341. Set in a 1939 FA Cup tie against Everton. And the final clue, on which I think a lot of people should get now, is this particular ground was used as Coventry's home ground for the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons.
There you go. There's your three clues. fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, at fulltimetw on X, if you want to have a go at this podcast edition of Al's away end. Right, very quickly, Al, we're going to get the crystal ball out. I'm going to make some statements here, and I want you to tell me whether they'll happen during this coming season or whether they'll not. Okay? Are you ready?
Yep.
All you've got to give me is a yes/no answer. First one is, a promoted club will finish in the top 6.
Yes.
Okay. So a promoted club will finish in the top 6. A manager will be sacked before September. Have to push you quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pulling of the trigger early, isn't it? But your football doesn't surprise you, so I'll go with a yes.
Okay. A goalkeeper will score.
Yes, I reckon. Jack Bycroft for Exeter last season did the business, didn't he?
Yeah. Someone will finish with 100 plus points.
Well, it's a fabulous season if they do that. It's quite rare. It doesn't happen a lot, but there's always someone flying high, and so let's go with yes on that.
Okay. A team bottom at Christmas will survive.
Yeah. There's always runs that get put together in football.
Okay. And the last one, someone will go unbeaten for 15 games.
Yeah. So, my crystal ball's all showing yes.
It is. Right, so we've gone for yes. So we've gone for a promoted club will finish in the top 6. That's a yes. A manager will be sacked before September. That's a yes. A goalkeeper will score. Alan's also said yes. Someone will finish with 100 plus points. He said yes. A team at bottom at Christmas will survive. He said yes to that as well. And what was the last one? Someone will go unbeaten for 15 games. Alan's gone for yes on all of those. You can have a go as well. Some of them we'll be able to give you before the season ends. Some of them we won't be able to give you until the season ends. But it's fulltimewithtw@gmail.com and at fulltimetw as well on X. You're listening to Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Time with Tonge and Wareing. We're nearly at the end of another edition of our podcast. Just very quickly to remind you, if you want to go at any of our competitions, then you can do fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, at fulltimetw as well on X. If you want to discuss the rule changes, if you want to talk about your side's EFL chances, you can contact us on that email address or via X as well. We're more than happy to receive them. We're more than happy to read them out. Very quickly, let me remind you as well, ahead of the WSL season starting, if you are a fan of the WSL, then this podcast is exactly the place to be, because we have got our first guest lined up, and Chloe Hudson-Jones is going to come on. She's played at the highest level, and she's going to help us discuss the start to the WSL season. Really looking forward to that, Al.
That'd be brilliant. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that brings to an end another edition of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Enjoyed it again, Al?
Oh, loved it, Alan. I always love chatting football for half an hour, 40 minutes or so. Superb.
Yeah. What about you, angry producer? You enjoyed it as well?
Less waffle, more football.
Okay, right. Well, we'll try and take that on board. But that's it then for this edition of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. We'll hopefully be recording another one of these podcasts very, very soon. But until then, keep yourself safe and enjoy your football.